Hi everybody. So for the execution of the agreement, I'm going to try and walk you through this to the best of my ability. And I will read the actual acceptance and the language for you. So the first thing that you're going to do is I want you to go ahead and review the agreement. If you have time to read the prelude, that would be great. And then you're going to start by doing the checklist. So if you are following along with me right now, what I want you to do is do the checklist and go ahead and pause this video while you do that. And once you are done with the checklist, then you will review the 3-page agreement. Okay? And once you're done reading the agreement pages, you will then move on to scanning the document. Now, if you prefer to do this very in depth, you can review it, and you're welcome to put exclusions if there are certain things that you'd like to exclude. I would recommend leaving the stuff you're not sure about because of the amount of research I've put into it. I feel really strongly that it's been done right, so I think you're safer having it than not having it. So please be really considerate that put so much time into this that if you're not sure, please know that your God self is in control of what you're going to be bringing in, so you can happily rely on that to feel like you're not going to be bringing in anything that's not going to be good for you. And you also make sure you set that intention as well. Just be very deliberate in setting that intention before you start this process. Okay. So the next part of this process, we're going to move on. You're going to sit down in a nice position, and I'm going to read this to you, so I may have to move my hands down, but I want you to know that you're going to keep your hands behind your head like this, and also at your heart throughout this process. Now when you're doing this agreement for yourself, you will simply be saying, I'm enacting Protocol 1 at the head, and wait to feel or see or whatever means that you visualize or experience, and wait till that feels like you get a sense that you're okay to move on. And then you're going to say, I'm enacting Protocol 2 at the heart space, and feel into that. And I want you to be very intentional about feeling into your heart space while you're doing Protocol 2. And then once that feels like it's really full, or you may feel energy moving, and then sometimes it'll disappear and it'll come back stronger, and that's okay. So just wait till you feel like that's totally ready. And once you have done that, then you're going to say, I'm enacting Protocol 2, and you're going to push that in to your chest, and then that's going to be the Protocol 3, so you say, I'm accept. Okay, once you're done. So then you're going to breathe in nice and deeply. Okay, so I want to read the Protocol 1 for you, and you can follow along with me through this process. I will be reading it, so I want you to keep your hands. This might be kind of lengthy. If you are going to continue to hold your hands like that, you can do it the easy way by saying, I'm enacting Protocol 1, I'm enacting Protocol 2, and then I accept, or I'm enacting Protocol 3. That is the easier solution. Some people have a hard time holding their hands in that position for too long, so that's why I've done it this way. But for the purposes of really being very thorough, I want to read this to you while you're holding your hands in these positions. So just know that even though I may have to move my hand to scroll, this is where you'd want to keep your hands throughout this. So I'm going to read this to you now. So for Protocol 1, I'm now running Acquisition Protocol 1. I hereby connect to, activate, authorize, and invoke my inner light, and I call forth my power to understand, create, initiate, and connect a golden quantum cord with love to the divine mind of my free infinite self now. I hereby invoke my sovereign right to access any and all necessary and appropriate laws of any kind for the proper establishment and execution of this agreement now. I hereby invoke my sovereign right to access any and all necessary and appropriate energy forms for this process now. I hereby invoke my sovereign right to access any and all necessary and appropriate knowledge related to proper conversion of energy and its many forms now. I hereby invoke, scroll down. I hereby invoke my sovereign right to access any and all available records of any kind whatsoever which are appropriate, present, necessary, and related to each and every statement. I hereby invoke my rights as a sovereign being to expressly obtain any and all knowledge of each and every word, term, phrase, information, and or any other records available anywhere at any time of any kind whatsoever relating to each statement in its full and complete entirety. I declare that I am only accepting or deleting those statements on this list which are in alignment with my highest good as or defined by my free infinite God self. I hereby authorize my free infinite God self to resolve and mitigate any and all conflicts within these statements to the maximum extent necessary for my highest good, and to additionally delete any and all similar and or conflicting information or prior understandings which are not necessarily noted herein, that are however presently being held by me, which are contrary to as negating the newly accepted statements of this agreement. I hereby invoke the trauma exclusions for each and every statement on my list, now and further declare all appropriate dissolution of any and all associated DNA, programs, traumas, cords, or agreements of any kind which from past, present, or future, which may be associated with each and every statement. I hereby invoke the energy enhancement addendum for each and every statement on my list now, under the guidance of my free infinite God self. I hereby obtain any and all necessary information needed to make it possible and safe for me to execute this agreement and to properly integrate proper acceptance or deletion as noted for each statement, allowing proper rephrasing, modification, and guidance by my free infinite God self. I hereby incorporate a new perfect and positive understanding related to each and every statement at this time, and thus modify my whole being, energy, DNA, accords, associations, future associations, subconscious beliefs, and or anything whatsoever related to be in accord with this agreement at all times. I hereby invoke the dissolution of associations addendum at this time in its entirety to be applied to each and every statement. I hereby invoke my sovereign right to access, review, resolve, complete, and declare dissolution for any and all vows, curses, contracts, hexes, social agreements, and or any and all similar agreements of any kind whatsoever related to each and every statement, as well as all items listed on the dissolution of associations addendum now. I hereby invoke the energy enhancement addendum at this time in its entirety with respects to be applied to each and every statement. I hereby invoke my sovereign right to my external and internal space, mentally, physically, and energetically, in order to clean, clear, modify, purify, and set new intentions. I have sole control over my energy at all times, and I apply the energy enhancement addendum in the most perfect way as directed by my free infinite God self as it pertains to each and every statement now. I hereby reestablish and or establish my maximum power levels for each and every accept statement now, and obtain any and all information needed to perfect each accept statement, transforming and incorporating it in the positive and healthy way in alignment with my free infinite God self. I hereby dissolve any and all unnecessary remaining energy that's not serving my highest good, and I'm setting it up through the quantum grounding cord at this time to be recycled through 0-point energy. I hereby declare that hereinafter the terms of Protocol 1 acquisition script herein of this agreement shall be applied by stating the following. I am enacting Protocol 1 now. That brings everything into the head, okay? Now you're going to focus on your heart space, okay? I hereby connect to, activate, authorize, and invoke my inner light, and call forth my power to understand, create, initiate, and connect a pink quantum cord with love to the divine heart of my free infinite God self now. I hereby now integrate all of this information and the newly incorporated statements into my space, allowing the heart brain to adjust everything as necessary to properly incorporate the revised entire terms of my I am agreement, and to carefully disseminate this information into my system in the most perfect way at all times, in perfect alignment with my free infinite God self. I hereby further declare endless and continuous replication of these clearing protocols for myself, all willing beings across the world, as well as my entire DNA bloodline in the past, present, and future, subject to future modification, as solely directed and approved of by my free infinite God self, or any of theirs respectively, now and forever. I hereby declare that hereinafter the terms and Protocol 2 integration script herein of this agreement shall be applied by stating the following. I am enacting Protocol 2 now. At this point, you're going to allow yourself to feel into this or see into this, and when it feels like it's completely full, you're going to push that in and you're going to say, I'm grateful for this transformation. I accept this transformation now. I accept all of the terms and conditions of this I am agreement in its entirety now. I hereby declare that hereinafter the terms in Protocol 3, Transformation Protocol script herein of this agreement shall be applied by stating the following: I am enacting Protocol 3 now, and by stating I accept. After this, you're going to feel a lot of energy shifting around. You might feel a little bit dizzy, so just go ahead and take some nice deep breaths and allow yourself to kind of resituate. And give yourself some time with this, and then after that, from here forward, you'll just be saying I enact Protocol 1 now, I am enacting Protocol 2 now, and then I accept, or I am enacting Protocol 3 now, which is the accept protocol. So I hope that you will give me feedback on this, or new ideas if you have any, new information if you have any on the technology. That would be great. Just keep in touch, and I'm excited to share this with you.